Up, everybody, to Win Daily Sports' inaugural edition of a new show that I'm the host of. My name is Nabate Alves, and this is Fantasy Isle, and it is my pleasure and honor to be part of the Win Daily Sports family, and it is my pleasure and honor to interview so many interesting individuals, and especially luminous individuals in the world of sports, people that paved the way for others to succeed, and it's my pleasure to have my brother, and also not just a Pro Football Hall of Famer, not just one of the greatest running backs to ever live, not just like an entrepreneur, but a wonderful human being for sure. It's my pleasure to have Mr. Marshall Falk on the first edition of Fantasy Isle. How you doing, sir?
What's up? What's up? I love it, man. Fantasy about that. That's pretty sweet, man. And this is the first edition. I'm your first guest. That's what you're telling
Yesterday,
me.
yesterday, you set the
Oh man,
tone. You
that's
set the
that's
tone.
awesome. That's awesome. I like it. I like it. We're going
Yes.
so we're gonna talk a little fantasy and a little reality. I hope, right?
Oh yeah, oh for sure, absolutely, for sure. And the reality is, first of all, the reality is of how you are helping so many people, and that's something we want to get into with our guests about how our guests are able to get into that transition from sports to a second chapter of life of success. And you are definitely
Mm-hmm.
doing that. So
Mm-hmm.
talk about, please tell our audience about the great work that you're doing now and how you're inspiring people.
Yeah, man. Realizing the next chapter in life and what you're going to do. Obviously, you find yourself in a position to impact lives, and how you're going to do that. I'm a philanthropist at heart.
Mhm.
I've had my own foundation since 1994, and I've always tried to find different ways to give back to the communities that I played in and the communities I came from, and just all the communities that look like the communities that I came from, just to give kids an opportunity to inspire to be something more. I'm not just talking about an athlete. I'm talking about just be something more than what you see in your environment. And
Mhm.
then I realized that I wasn't, although I was doing these things, um, I was asked a very specific question. Hey, do you understand how your money is working? And I was like, wow, that's a very interesting question. And it was
Mhm.
it was one question that had stumped me because I didn't have an idea, to be honest. And right there, I realized that I wasn't financially literate. And then I started asking people and wanted to know, and I realized a lot of people in the world are not financially literate for the simple fact that our school systems, they don't teach it.
That's
And
right.
then I started going to other countries. A lot of other countries, they don't teach financial literacy as well. And so,
Mhm. Mhm.
I've been on this crusade with a bunch, not just by myself, but with a bunch of people, just trying to eradicate financial illiteracy. Um, if you don't know, you just don't know. But the
Mhm.
minute like we started having conversations, and once we start having those conversations, you become woke to what the
That's right.
system has and how the system has failed you. And so what we do is we sit down with people and we educate them on their finances. We service them on their finances, and we do all of that for free. And then we
Wow.
show them how to use that education and that service, if they want to become an entrepreneur and do the exact same things that are done for them for other people. So the gift keeps on giving. The cycle can be broken that way by providing people something not only that they can take in and learn, but they can also teach others, but yet monetize it and start your own business. Sounds familiar. If it does, it's what Uber did, it's what
Mhm.
Airbnb did, allowed you to use a service that they gave to you. Now you can join in, create another stream of income. And that's all we want people to understand. Very basic. How's your money working for you?
Wow, and your company is called Virtuality Financial Partners and everything, and yeah, and talk about like athletes. I know. Do you advise current athletes on how they need to look ahead? After the lights, after the lights and the cheers are over.
As much as possible. The reality with athletes are that they're guarded and they're protected. And I was one of those athletes, and I understand how it goes on and what happens. And here's the thing: the people handling your money, they want to keep you in a position to where you need them to handle your money. Because the minute you become educated and you could ask all the questions, then you realize what services you do and do not you do and do not need, and then you can make better decisions. Anybody that's educated, they're going to make a better decision. And that's all we're trying to do. We want to make sure that you're educated about the decisions that are being made for you so you can make better decisions for yourself when it's time to.
Wow, no, that's wonderful, Marshall. And once again, so tell us how Virtuity, what's next, what's up next for Virtuity Financial Partners, and what's going on, and your involvement with the company.
Yeah, so Virtuity, basically what we're doing is we're doing a bunch of seminars. We're coming to a city near you, and we want people to know we do what we call these business presentation meetings.
Hmm.
We want people to sit down and hear about the things that are left out of conversations. Nobody wants to talk about money. It's taboo.
Hmm.
Money, sex, they taboo. Nobody wants to talk about it, but everybody wants both of them.
Yep.
And they're a huge part of life.
Yep.
They're a huge
Yeah.
part of life. And what
Hmm.
we want to do is we want to take that stigma away from money, man. Because when we start having these conversations, then you can learn from me, I can learn from you, and not just on the good things, but on the mistakes that we made. And now we can
Hmm.
share in the success, and we can teach each other how to go out there and be better with our finances.
Hmm. Hmm. Wow, that's real. Wow. So definitely, definitely, especially as this pandemic is starting to dissipate, I'm sure it'll be an epidemic soon. It will go, like soon and everything. So definitely, look out for Virtuity Financial Partners and all the seminars that'll be
Oh
going
yeah,
on because people will
oh
be
yeah,
traveling, and you're traveling a lot
yeah. And
now.
if
Like you're starting to
anybody, and
travel
if
more.
anybody, I'm doing some. Yeah, I'm getting back in the traveling. I'm
Hmm.
vaccinated. I'm good.
Hmm. Yes,
And I
sir.
you know
Same
I
here.
encourage people. I get it, man. I get it. People skeptical and all of that stuff. Um, play your part. Do your part. Don't put other people at risk. But yeah, if you're at home and you wanna hear it, you want to find out anything, very easy. wealthwave.com/Marshall Falk. Go to my site. Any of the
Mhm.
videos, anything that intrigue you, look at the presentation, look at the videos, look at anything that we have. And if you have any questions, that's all you got to do is go to my calendar, book an appointment. We can hop on a call, we can talk, and I can walk you through. If you don't know if you're financially literate or not, then you're probably not.
Hmm. Wow, wow, that's great, Marshall. What noble work that you're doing. And so many more years of more inspiration that you'll provide for people, most definitely. So, but now we're gonna get into like some fantasy football, reality football, everything. It's been a busy time in the National Football League for sure. We had the NFL draft. I'm gonna ask you a couple questions about the draft a little bit later, but hey, check it out. DFS, right? DFS is the new wave, the phenomenon, and everything, where it's a daily fantasy sports, where it's just based on that day. That's it. Not like season long as fantasy
That
football or,
day.
or fantasy sports has been predicated on for years. But now check it out. It's unpredictable, as we all know. And which factors and statistical components do you look at, when it comes to selecting players each Sunday?
Well, first of all, you you want to make sure that you get a player that's serviceable and that's going to be there. You don't want to draft guys that miss games. Definitely in that first 12 week of the season, if you notice guys that are always hurt and that are not productive, and then you want to make sure you're drafting guys. Um, when you draft a guy, let's say you draft a running back or a quarterback within their division, how good are the defenses in that division? Because they're gonna play them two times. So
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have, and you want to. Here's what I'm gonna say. I try not to draft teams that play in the AFC North because Baltimore, Cleveland, and Pittsburgh, they play good defense.
Mm-hmm.
That's 6 games against each other, and you don't know how those games are going to go. So you want to stay away from that. You want to get into you want to make sure that you're looking at the AFC South.
Mm-hmm.
Defense. They play a little defense, but they score a lot of points. Houston, Indianapolis, they're scoring a lot of points.
Uh-huh.
they putting up points. So just little things like that.
Mhm.
Another, I always want one of the quarterbacks in the NFC South. They're gonna put up numbers. They're gonna put up
Mhm.
numbers.
True.
They're always putting up numbers. You got to think what you had in the past. And then Brady, you added Brady to it, and
Mhm.
they're going to put up numbers. So
That's right. And
I look at little things like that.
this year
Oh yeah,
coming
I
up.
mean,
Jameis.
we're going to see. Listen, if Sean Payton can't get him right, then this is it.
That's right. That's hey, for real. Like Peyton is like the whisperer. You know what I'm saying? The quarterback whisperer. You saw with Drew Brees. That dude lasted to 41 and was only 6 feet
Man,
tall.
hey
you know.
man, I'm just saying. He had a year with Bruce Arians, and now you're gonna have his second year going under the second year under Sean Payton. And those are two guys that I know both. I know the both of them personally and
Hmm.
professionally, and they're really good with the quarterback at the quarterback position, and how they go about coaching that position. If they can't get nothing out of you, something's wrong. If you pay attention,
Hmm.
quarterbacks that have worked with Bruce Arians,
Hmm.
if you could not thrive in his system, you didn't play in the league. If you
Hmm.
couldn't thrive with the Saints, you can't play in the league.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's
And
just that's just how it is.
but Jameis did have that five G's, that 5G in the yards. So
Oh yeah, and he had 50 interceptions too.
that's right. He gave up. I think he has 7 pick sixes. So he gave up oh my God, he gave up 42 points right there to the other team. Lord have mercy. So, well,
Unbelievable, man.
yes, indeed. Here with the great Marshall Falk, Pro Football Hall of Famer, entrepreneur, financial wizard as well. Here on Win Daily Sports' Fantasy Isle. I'm the Bateal. So Marshall, who's your favorite running back to watch in the league? Who's the man, or who's
All of
the
them, man.
characters?
I'm gonna be honest with you. All of them. I think the position is unique. It doesn't matter if you're the size of Derrick Henry, Christian McCaffrey. I mean, it doesn't matter what your size is. Being able to get the job done and in different ways.
Mhm,
It's not a position that's played one way. When you watch the quarterback, all quarterbacks need to have a certain skill set.
mhm,
When you
mhm,
look at offensive linemen, each position, they got to have a certain skill set. The running back position, I mean, you can go down the line, and from a McCaffrey, um, uh, um, uh,
Saquon, even
Zeke
Saquon.
Elliott, uh,
Saquon, if healthy. Saquon.
Saquon Barkley.
Mhm.
Uh, I mean, yeah. Obviously, we're talking healthy. Nick Chudd. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
there's just so many
Kareem.
different ways.
Woo.
Derrick Henry. Yeah, I mean, there's so many different ways to get it done.
Mhm.
I mean, if Frank Gore still get LaShawn McCoy. I'm just telling you, like
Oh, and
these guys
Kamara
are
with your
guys,
hometown Saints. Kamara,
but
from New
they
Orleans.
don't. Oh yeah, but they
Mhm,
and they play the game similar, but there's different ways of getting it done. And
mhm,
what I appreciate about it is, they all have their own little styles and how they play and what they do, but they're all serviceable. So I'm fans of any running back, because I know how hard it is to play the position and how hard it is to be successful at the position.
mhm. And speaking of being successful, the problem with these RBBCs, is running back by committees. Two-part question for you: why is it that the running back isn't being valued as that starter? That workhorse. You know what I mean? That person like back in the day, Jim Brown, Walter Payton, Barry Sanders, Eric Dickerson, all those running backs that had John Riggins, all those guys that had those carries. But also, to his second part of the question, how can you evaluate when it comes to fantasy which running back could actually have more value in a two-back system?
Yeah, and you don't know. I'm talking about a three-back system. I mean,
True.
sometimes, and here's the reality: the starter, he comes out like he whenever he's tired, he comes out, and I don't understand how guys, you're conditioned, you're top-notch athletes. What are you coming out of the game for? You don't
Mm-hmm.
know when that play is going to be the play. And that's that's how I look at it. I know teams like to have certain guys for certain situations, but it's if you want to be a top back in today's league, you got to be the guy in every situation. You got to be able to play first and second down. You got to be
Mhm.
able to be in there on third down to catch the ball or pass block. You got to be a short yardage and goal line. You got to get the tough yards. I mean, what are they taking you out for? Because if you're asking for franchise money,
Mhm.
that's like, hey, we're gonna take the quarterback out. We won't want to throw deep. We want to throw outside the numbers. We're gonna bring another guy in, and when we want
Mhm.
to run plays, we're gonna bring another guy in. You can't do that. But
Mhm.
that's what's happening to the position, and I blame the current running backs for doing it to the position.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah, and you're saying that pretty much in this do you think that this generation is there's too buddy, not enough competition, within that circle, right?
Yeah, too many participation awards going on. You're not earning your stripes to be in the game. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, back in the day, you had to earn the right to play,
Mhm.
and the best you put your best 11 out there, and they don't understand what teams are doing is teams want to make sure not only that if you get hurt that they can replace you, but if you ask for more money, if you think you're better than whatever, they have somebody ready to play.
That's right. That's right. And that's why I give Alvin Kamara a lot of credit because Alvin Kamara came in more as a specialty back, but then all of a sudden, he was able to show his worth as you were talking about.
Yeah, and you gotta show teams that you're serviceable and that you're durable and that you're going to be there in game one and the last game of the season, whatever that game is for you. Hopefully, it's the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. Wow, here with the great Marshall Falk, Pro Football Hall of Famer, entrepreneur here on Win Daily Sport Fantasy Isle. My name is Nabate Owls, the inaugural edition of the show, and thank Win Daily Sports for having me be a part of their family, and thank you, Marshall, for joining me as for sure. So now 20 running backs were taken in the 2021 draft, and as you were saying, how teams will look for someone that can come in and be able to do the job, especially if they're cheaper. You know what I mean? So now there were only 4 backs drafted in the first 3 rounds. That's crazy how the running back is not being looked at as a top 10 pick anymore. The first back that was taken was Najee Harris at 24 to the Steelers. Now, which running backs do you see from this draft class that can come in and be able to make an impact based on where they were drafted?
Well, I think the guys that were taken early, when you look at them two, Pittsburgh, they're going to put Najee out there, and he's going to fit into that division. Like
Mm-hmm.
he is what they were missing.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously Connor did a good job, and the other guys that came in did a decent job. But they, since Le'Veon Bell, they hadn't had a real feature back, and now
Yep.
they get a feature back. They get to provide Ben some help. Ben's always had help at the running back position. People never
That's
really
right.
paid attention to it.
That's right.
From when he
You
from
know,
when he first came in,
yeah,
he's had
Bettis,
help at the
Jerome,
running back position.
Jerome
He,
Bettis,
he's he, he's
go.
always had help at the running back position.
Mm-hmm.
And when they look at, okay, what are we missing? They saw a guy in number 22 at Alabama, like, all right, this guy plays our type of football. They want to get back to running the football and controlling the line of scrimmage. Now, and then Travis Etienne, he's a game
Mm-hmm.
breaker. He's a
Mm-hmm.
game breaker. But his thing, what he's going to have to learn how to do is on first and second down, not just in the run game, but in the passing game.
Yep. They're
I
gonna be
I, I never
behind a
saw
lot.
him.
They're gonna be behind a
I,
lot.
I
Mm-hmm.
never saw him throw a block in college. I never saw it. So learn not just learning how to play in the passing game because he might have that down, knowing and understanding the passing game. But now when you're a part of protecting the quarterback, knowing not just knowing who to get, but how to get him. And if you can get in a fight, because it's a fight you're going to lose, and people don't understand that. If I'm 215 pounds and this linebacker is 240, I'm basically stepping in the way of a freak. I'm taking one for the quarterback. I gotta get in a fight with him to distract him so he don't get to my quarterback.
That's right. That's right. And so coincidentally, him and Trevor Lawrence, teammates for 3 years at Clemson, and they did a lot of damage together. So I think that's kind of extra incentive, that relationship they have, like because Trevor is going to have that pressure. I think Travis is going to know he's going to have to step it up as well to help his quarterback. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, man. And is there ever pressure in Jacksonville?
true. That's why Urban
Let's be
Meyer
real.
went there. That's why he went. Right. Exactly. And what do you think of Urban Meyer? Do you think he deserved the job? And do you think if he and do you think that he has that upside to be able to turn Jacksonville
Here's
around,
here.
a la Tom Coughlin, what Coughlin did for the franchise?
See, here's what, and people, people misinterpret what I was saying about him. My thing was, and I two parts
Mm-hmm.
to this. Did he
Okay.
deserve the job? Yes. Anytime you can get hired at a job, yes, you deserve it. Now,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
if I'm evaluating, him, I'm thinking about everywhere he's went, he won. He's
Mm-hmm.
won. Like he's
That's right.
at every level, he's
That's right.
won. But everywhere he's went, he's quit.
For some reason. Mm-hmm.
I,
Mm-hmm.
it's just exactly for whatever the reason is, and to me, that says something to me, and I'm just wondering. I'm like, man, how does like when you decide that you're going to bring somebody on, where does that factor in? Like, what? Tell me what that conversation's like, and how do you have it? Because I just don't get it. I don't understand. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the other thing, all right, I think about when he was at Utah, I
Mm-hmm.
think about Florida and Ohio State. Now, Utah, Alex Smith. Alex Smith, well, I mean, he got Alex Smith drafted early,
Yeah.
before Aaron Rodgers. All right.
Way
So he
before.
did something good with Alex Smith.
Mhm.
Yeah, he did something good with Alex Smith. Now, take me to Florida and tell me his quarterback that he got in the NFL.
Could be a potential
You can
tight
hold
end for
on.
him.
You can keep thinking about that one. You can continue to think about that one. All right. All right. And the fact that he didn't get Tebow ready for the next level, that bothered me a little bit too. Now, go to Ohio State, another big program.
Mhm.
Tell me what quarterback he got to the NFL that
Well,
came in ready.
right, exactly. There was one that was drafted
But
in the
here's
first
the thing,
round,
Nabate, check this out. Check this
but
out.
mhm.
Check, check this out. Check this out. But now, if I'm an owner of a team, I'm going to bring him in to get Trevor Lawrence ready? What?
Mm, mm. But Trevor, Trevor's born ready though.
Uh,
Trevor's born ready. There's not. He's. That's the thing.
no.
He got that number one pick where Trevor could come in and do what he can do. So
Listen, listen, listen. I played with Born Ready. I was in Indianapolis with Peyton Manning his rookie year.
that's right. That's right.
Check the stats. I think it's
Uh-huh.
like 26 or 27 interceptions at
Right.
Born Ready. That's
Hmm.
Born Ready. Born
Yep.
Ready. Born Ready. You got to go through some bumps in the road and learn how to play this game and have the people around you to help
Hmm.
him. Now, you want to know who was in that? You want to know year one who was in that quarterback meeting room with Peyton Manning?
Hmm.
Bruce Arians.
That's right. That's right. Because he came, and then he came back after years back, and then had Andrew Luck that developed. Right.
There,
Right.
there
Hmm.
you go.
Yep.
Now,
Yep.
now, I don't know. I don't know who they have in that position or who gonna be in that room with them. But I'm gonna tell you this. I know if that was my team and I was bringing him in, that's a big deal, man.
Better bring a
That's a
guru.
big deal.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yes, and they're
Yep.
not easy to find.
They're not. They're not. That's for sure. That's for sure. Wow. But now, Marshall, so much to ask. Couple more questions to ask you. Now, Tampa Bay Super Bowl champions. Will they
Yeah.
repeat? Will they repeat? And one other question, is Brady the GOAT, not just at the quarterback position, but of all positions in the history of the league?
I mean that's hard, man. It's hard to say that.
Mm,
I just. When I look at football in today's game, they're not even a part of the contact of the game. Like it, it, you can't. I mean, they probably should just have the quarterback when you touch him, his helmet light up and is a sack, because you can't really. They're not a part of. I mean, for real. Think about the position.
Like operation.
Like
Right
they're
there.
right, right. They're specialists. They're like kickers and punters almost. They're specialists, and that's how they get treated.
Interesting point. Interesting point. Wow.
I mean, they're not bad. And this is, and I'm just saying, and this was, I'm just talking back in the day, my day, and even before then, when that quarterback dropped back 50 times, that was 50 times for somebody to tear his head off, for somebody to sack him and, you know, do some damage. And
Mm-hmm.
now, having your quarterback drop back 50 times, you're good. You're not putting him at risk.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. No, that's real. That's real. So Tampa Bay, you think they're repeating? They're gonna repeat, right? They got the tools.
Man, it's a tough task. Here's the thing: it's a tough task, but you have to remember this. Um, they didn't win the NFC South last year.
That's right. They're the wild card. Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm just saying they did represent the NFC, but they didn't win the NFC South last year. So let's give them their props. I love what Brady did. You get him to the
Mm-hmm.
playoffs, and he's gonna show you what he can do. But
Mm-hmm.
they gotta choose a different path this year.
That's right.
And
Try to get them.
they got to win the NFC South. And I think if Bruce Arians is saying anything, let's win the NFC South. Let's do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Now they're the defending champs. If you want to beat a champ, you got to beat the champs, and
Mm-hmm.
you got to go through them. And there's nobody that gets their team prepared like Tom Brady does. And think about it,
Mm-hmm.
man. Think about at your age right now. If you was in a huddle with a bunch of 20-something-year-olds, telling them, "Listen, man, I got 7 rings. You want one? Let me show you what to do." Okay, okay.
That's right. That's right. That's for sure. That's why they're working out with him in the midst of COVID, working out with him, like messing up all
Yeah,
violations, like against all violations, COVID
yeah.
violations that the league was putting out. Wow. Wow.
Hey,
And
man.
now Aaron Rodgers does he have a legitimate gripe against Green
Who
Bay?
who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Listen, this is what I'm trying to figure out. You know how easy it is to find you a GM? A GM is a dime a dozen.
That's right.
You know how hard it is to find another Aaron Rodgers in this league? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
This GM is out of his cocky mammy mind. What?
Yeah.
No way.
Yep. Do you see him playing
Like
another
this is a
down?
power play. This is a power play.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't want to
Wow.
say no, because I don't want to say no because I just don't like the optics of it. But I mean, it's appearing, and he hasn't said anything yet. It's other people. It's
Yeah.
things are said. It's
Right.
they're playing telephone.
Reports.
Yeah, yeah. Until I hear him say how displeased he is and that he doesn't want to be there. Because didn't we hear this early in the year about Russell Wilson?
That's right. That's right. He gave the list
And
of teams, said, just in case you want to trade me, just in case,
yeah,
Just
yeah.
say-
So I think we just put that to bed right now. See how things pan out. See when they have their first camp. Is he there? That and then we could start having these conversations.
Mhm, mhm.
If he don't show up at the camp, oh, it's on.
That's right. That's right. And he's not going to budge either. Aaron's not, because Aaron has a lot to stand on. You know what I mean? He has an
Hey,
anchor, like pretty much. So, wow. But wow. Now, one more question for you. 17-game season. That affects the whole fantasy, schedule and everything like that. Remember, it used to be week 17 that, that doesn't count in fantasy. Now it's week 18, But what do you think as a former player? How would you, if you were currently playing the league, what would your stance be on the 17 games?
here's the thing. How many preseason games they gonna play?
3.
So let me just explain this to you. So the 4 preseason games, understand that we don't get paid. We don't start getting paid into the regular season, but we show up and play the preseason game, and you pay for tickets the same way for the preseason games.
Mm-hmm.
That's just one more game that we revenue share in now.
Mm-hmm.
That's all it is. And I mean, I want to see what the playoffs, what they're going to do with that, how many teams they're going to allow in, which format are they gonna go with.
Mm-hmm.
But as long as they allow the players to share in the revenue from that added game, then fine, it's all good.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. And they're doing the 17 playoff once again, which really worked out, and it's really more incentive for only one team. That number one seed gotta have that bye. That's it right
That's
there,
it.
and that's good
Yeah, it
incentive.
worked. It worked out.
Yes, indeed. Wow. So
Yeah,
Marshall,
no, it
before
worked
you
out.
go, oh, wow. No, absolutely. Wow. And before you go, please tell the audience everything you're doing once again, for viewers that came late. Please let them know what you're doing and give them your website, all that good stuff.
One more time. If you out there and you're wondering if you're financially literate, then you're probably not. Because if you're financially literate, you are. If you need financial services, all free of charge, literacy services, I'm the place to come to. We can help you. We'll sit down. And here's the thing, the analogy is you can only stack millions. Nah, one stack, 10 stack, 20 stack, 100 stack, 1,000 stack. If you stack your money, then you're going to have some in savings for later in life so you can live better in retirement or retire. So check us out, wealthwave.com/Marshall Falk.
Yes, sir. And Marshall, thank you for joining me on the inaugural edition of Fantasy Isle on Win Daily Sports. Appreciate you, my brother.
Man,
Absolutely.
thank you for allowing me to be, the first guest on your show, man. It's a pleasure.
Yes. Thank you. Right now.